Welcome to That's Canon, the podcast talking about the Canon film series and other similar movies. This is episode 58, and I'm Phil.
And I'm Charles Bronson, back from all action.
You're back, baby.
I'm back, baby. Chucky B.
Greatly missed, I will say.
Oh, yeah. It's been a couple, how many episodes since Death Wish 3? I feel like it's been a while.
Right?
Jeez, yeah.
Because we did it for 50.
You're right, we did. But it feels like forever because I think that was before the holidays. So, I mean, it's several months later. And yeah, geez, we miss him. We like a good Chucky Bronson.
It's because of Pirates. Pirates aged us like 2 years.
We aged 2 years while watching it and then aged another 2 years having to talk about it last week.
I know. And then I'm going to edit it. Oh, my God.
Oh, you got to listen to it again. Yeah. Sucker.
Oh, man. But yeah, we watched this week Murphy's Law, which is a J. Lee Thompson film. He's definitely regaled us in the past with different canon films, such as King Solomon's Mines, The Ambassador, The Evil That Men Do, 10 to Midnight, which was another really good Charles Bronson film. So
yeah. It's for all of the stinkers like the King Solomon's Mines, as long as you also give us an equal amount of 10 to Midnight or Murphy's Law, I'm happy. If you at least give me a 50-50 spread of good shit and bad shit, I'm happy.
Exactly. And he will be back for Death Wish 4, The Crackdown, which I believe will be the last J. Lee Thompson film that we watch, but not the last film that he does with Charles Bronson. I think these two were like BFFs or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm sure there's some behind the scenes to it, but I'm sure they've got some rapport so that when they say, okay, the Globus guys are like, hey, we wanted our Charles Bronson picture. I'm sure it's a kind of a package deal at this point because I'm sure the other one, these are probably some of the more successful ones, I would guess.
I would have to be willing to guess that. I would assume that these movies are cheap and easy to make. And the script, I mean, if the script took more than a weekend to write, they wasted a lot of time.
Yeah, I mean, it practically writes itself. Although we'll get into this when we talk about the movie, but there's a lot of unique things about this one that I'll just to kind of go to the jump to the end a little bit, but like between this and 10 to Midnight, which we both love 10 to Midnight, it's up there with me in terms of how much I like it. And I think the things that this movie does uniquely about who the bad guys are and what they do throughout the movie, it definitely gives it a lot of credit.
Oh, definitely. And just put it into context before we start the episode. Charles Bronson is 65 in this, and the main female lead is 22. So keep that in mind when we talk about certain scenes.
Yeah. Oh, Charles Bronson, you sly fox, you.
Sly silver fox.
You silver fox, you.
So yeah, I got this off of the Kino Lorber site, which is it's almost like a boutique label, not kind of like Vinegar Syndrome, but Kino specializes in older films and not necessarily like the best, which I guess you could say for like Vinegar Syndrome, right? Some of their releases, the movies definitely are like B, C, Z level.
Oh yeah, low budget, no budget kinds of things, which I'm sure they were able to license cheaply.
But Kino seems to key off of movies that went to the movie theater that should have, like, I guess, attempted to be hits but failed in some way. So they definitely have an interesting catalog. They have a lot of Bronson films.
Oh yeah, they have like a Charles Bronson box set or something.
I wish. Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
I would buy that. They do. I think I've been on that site before. They have a lot of like classic Hollywood stuff too, don't they?
They do. Yeah. A lot
40s,
of like
50s.
forgotten gems and a lot of like noir type films.
Yeah.
The Bronson box set would smell like Ben Gay and I don't know,
gunpowder.
Like gunpowder. Gunpowder and Ben Gay. The Bronson box set.
That's actually the title on the box.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Oh.
The movie opens up and we got the beautiful Canon logo, fully animated, the sounds, everything.
The rule works.
Yeah.
It's holding up.
It is holding up. We cut to, I don't know, where are we? Los Angeles? Like I will say I generally dislike films that I can't tell where we're at. This
Where
just
we
seems to
are.
be like city.
I think you're right. I think it is Los Angeles because I think there are some spots that look like Hollywood. I think. I don't know. It doesn't bother me so much here because I think you're right. It's hard to tell where we are, but it didn't really seem to matter as much here, or didn't feel like it was we were missing anything by not knowing. The geography didn't seem to matter as much. Maybe that's just me.
True. Yeah, the geography doesn't matter. I just, yeah, I don't know why. That
It is
always
kind of
kind of
annoying.
upsets me.
Give me
I
some
mean, like,
establishing shots or something.
yeah, just offhandedly say, like, man, the traffic in Los Angeles today is pretty shitty. Uh
We sure do live in Los Angeles.
exactly. Sounds so natural. Uh we open up with Chucky B coming out of the corner shop, and this is where we meet our female lead, which I, it was interesting because she shows up in this scene and then she kind of disappears for a little bit. But
Mhm.
Kathleen Wilhoit plays Arabella McGee, and she is stealing Charles Bronson, or Jack Murphy, as he's called in this movie. She's stealing his car. Um,
Big mistake.
and you know what I kind of enjoyed about this scene? Charles Bronson immediately like sees that Arabella is stealing his car,
Mhm.
and he's like an old man. He's not superhuman. He's not Death Wish Bronson in this.
Yeah, he's definitely closer to the 10 to midnight Charles Bronson, who's more of a nuanced human being than like a one-man army.
Because he doesn't immediately start shooting, and he runs like an old man. He runs like a 65-year-old man.
It's my car.
Yeah.
Wait a minute when I run over there.
That's immediately he's like, hey, that's my car. And he chucks his groceries at it.
That when he chucks, he's got like a brown paper bag full of groceries. There's like celery and eggs sticking out the top. When he chucked his bag of groceries at the car, for some reason that just cracked me up. I don't know why. Like, why would you throw your groceries at the car? I mean, I guess it does the job because the windshield gets all gunked up and causes her to crash it. But
It
that's
does.
funny.
She immediately crashes into like a diner, and
Yeah,
then I would assume that she would have been knocked out or dazed, but she gets to her feet and runs down an alley, and that's where Bronson finds her and he cuffs her. And
apparently he's a cop.
yeah, shocker.
Yeah, I know,
Bronson's a
right?
cop in a film.
Does he
um,
play anything else?
Arabella, we find out, has a potty mouth. Greg,
Mm,
she has the
yeah,
insults of, I wouldn't even
like
say
a
a
fifth
5-year-old,
grader.
like a young teenager. They
You snot rocket, puke puss, dog
oh
do poo poo head.
let's see here. She says classic lines like, you snot licking donkey fart, kiss my pantyhose, sperm bank. Why don't you watch your asshole, asshole? Hey, pubic hair, I'm talking to you. Suck a doorknob, you. Okay, I can't say that word, but
Yeah. I'm tickled that you wrote down her quotes because she says this shit constantly.
constantly,
Constantly.
always calling cops small dicks too. Like,
Yeah.
it always kind of like turns around to being kind of like,
A
oh,
lot of
since
dick jokes.
yeah, I heard something about cops. They got small dicks. I'm just like, what?
Where did you hear that?
Yeah. I mean, who comes up with your welcome dildo nose? Or what took you so long, butt crust?
But oh god, butt crust. I remember that one. It's nothing if not creative. I'll give it that.
I think when the writers were sitting down doing this, they called like their teenage son over. They're like, I need some like hip insults to put in here for Arabella. What
What
do
do
you
kids call
got?
each other?
Call each other butt crust.
Butt crust. I don't know. I feel like teenagers is too old because teenagers at that point they're just probably just straight out cursing, like a lot of like f bombs and shits. I don't know. I feel this is more of like elementary school, middle school insults, like kids who are still afraid of cursing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely interesting. I yeah, it's that, I guess, that middle school age. Um, but yeah, her insults. I mean, I didn't mind the actress in the film. I thought she did a pretty good job, but her
Yeah,
her dialogue is abysmal.
it grates on you after a while. It seems to it gets a little less annoying later in the movie, but when we first meet her, it's jarring. That's for
Oh,
sure.
exactly. Um, as Bronson is handcuffing Arabella, she kicks him in the dick and he goes down. Uh, and
Womp womp.
what I thought was kind of weird though is she runs away handcuffed, Greg. How the fuck does she get out of these
Right?
handcuffs?
I wrote that same question down. How is she going to get those cuffs off? I mean, unless I don't know what. I mean, I assume they're made out of like stainless steel or something. I mean, who's going to help her get like? Does she just live with those cuffs now?
I don't know. She found some butt crust to take them off, snot nose.
Yes, yes, I see.
We cut to Charles Bronson, and he's in his pretty nice house for a cop. I don't know. Some of these cops in this movie must be on the take because a few of them have pretty nice houses in it.
Well, so Jack Murphy, he's like in like a shitty like basement apartment, but his partner, when we see his place later in the movie, that's like a penthouse loft apartment and a
Yeah,
high rise.
he's
It's
living
weird.
Miami Vice.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But Charles Bronson's being called into the office, and we realize that he's an alcoholic because his wife left him. I thought for sure it was going to be his wife was dead, right?
Oh
Like
yeah,
we just see the picture, and he's still kind of like lovelorn. I thought it was just going to be that he's like some broken heart, but nope.
yeah.
Turns out that his wife left him. Don't really know why though,
No,
uh,
that's not really explained.
or
I guess.
needed. And
Yeah, this
that's what's great about Bronson films, right?
you just need the thinnest thread to get him shooting,
Cut the
and that's
fucking
all you
fat.
need. Trim that fat, trim it all.
Trim it all. But Bronson, he's I don't know. I don't want to make fun of alcoholics, but any chance that Bronson gets in this film, he is like chugging. He's chugging like mouthwash because it has alcohol in it. He's chugging.
I love Listerine in the morning.
Yeah, he's got like flasks and just bottles everywhere.
Oh yeah, I don't want to. I don't know if it's. I would say functioning, but yeah, he. As we see this time at this point and later in the movie as well, he's like having a bottle of Jack Daniels for breakfast.
And it's interesting that they characterize him this way because beyond him just doing that, it never impedes his ability to do stuff, right? It's not
No,
like he ever got into a moment where he's like, I'm so fucking drunk, I can't shoot.
I can't stand up right. Yeah, I think the worst thing is that just people make fun of his appearance because he's got like stains on his tie and his hair looks a little disheveled. That's really about the extent of the consequences for the alcoholism.
Yeah. You'd think it would be a little more extreme for cops, but
Just
I guess not.
at the end, like right before the credits, and then like there's this like a little post credit card. It just says, "And Jack Murphy died of liver failure 10 weeks later."
Exactly. But Jack Murphy is now on the scene of a murder, and I mean, the murder itself that he's investigating doesn't really play anything into. Well, it connects him to a mob person, but the murder itself doesn't connect to the overall plot. He finds like a gold medallion,
Right.
and he's like, this medallion goes to Alberto Vincenzo. Um, I'm assuming
Pimp,
it's
I
like
guess.
inscribed on the back of the necklace. I don't know, but
Yeah.
pimp, drug racketeer, all around good guy,
Yeah.
Tony Vincenzo.
Vincenzo.
It's
Linguini.
it is definitely like stereotypical Italian mafioso
Oh
bullshit
yeah.
because they show up to an Italian restaurant and Tony Vincenzo's with his mama.
Mama, I'm having a spaghetti with my mama.
And it's just it's so on the nose, but it's also kind of funny because as we see in the film, like the mama is she's kind of a bitch too, right? Like I think she calls for the death of someone, if not Charles Bronson in the film.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have a quick talk and he's like, or Bronson's like, yeah, I'm looking for your brother. I found his necklace at a murder site. I have a warrant for his
I know it's
arrest.
him. We got him by the balls. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, miss. We've got him by the chandeliers.
Yeah. I don't the some of the dialogue is a little hokey, but yeah.
Yeah.
So and I thought it was interesting also that the Vincenzo here, he's wearing a hearing aid, and they don't play with that in the film.
No, it's kind of an interesting little characteristic, for lack of a better word. Yeah, but they didn't really do anything with it. It's kind of a neat little touch. Like, I guess I don't really have to comment on it that much. I mean, maybe like one throwaway line or something, but I think it's a good example of a lot of the things that this movie does, where there's like just their little uniqueness things. Like they didn't have to do, like they didn't have to give this guy hearing aid. It could just be a regular mafia guy, but it's kind of a neat little touch. I like it.
Yeah, they're inclusive.
Yeah,
There's no homophobia in this film anywhere.
sure, surely not. Oh,
Oh wait, oh wait. Uh, we cut to a bus station, and we meet an unknown woman who I I don't know. Do you know who this woman is? Like Carrie Snodgrass. I feel like I've heard the name before.
she looks very familiar. Also, this very familiar actor. She's kind of. I think in this movie, she's probably what late 40s, I'd say.
Yeah,
Blonde woman. So like it not. You'd look at this actress and you'd think that she may have been cast as like a mom type or something, or like a wife in an 80s movie, some kind of like typecasting. That's the kind of look that this lady has in this.
exactly. I mean, she's been in other films. Just I think she just never hit it big. I think this
Yeah.
was like her break later on in her career. And unfortunately for women in Hollywood, once you get past the age of 30, there's really not much left for you to do. And I don't
Yeah,
understand that
kind
because
of a
fucking
shame.
Charles Bronson's 65 and they're letting him shoot guns in this movie.
Yeah, really. They're giving him like leading action roles. Yeah, kind of sucks. But we meet
Um,
her.
but yeah, so Carrie Snodgrass, the unknown woman, is meeting up with Elaine Bennis's dad in a park for a list of phone numbers. Did you are you a Seinfeld fan?
I
Did you
I
catch that?
so okay, so I did like I watched a lot of Seinfeld earlier. I haven't It's been a while, but I knew that this guy looked familiar and sounded familiar. He's got a very familiar sounding voice. So maybe that's what I'm remembering. He's from Seinfeld.
Lawrence Tierney, he is Joe Cabot in Reservoir Dogs. He's the
Okay.
guy who puts together the gang where he's
Okay.
like everyone wants to be Mr. Black, right? He's in Star Trek Deep Space Nine as a regent, episode Business as Usual.
I should have known it was Star Trek. It's been so long since we've had a Star Trek reference. I love it.
He's in The Naked Gun from the Files of the Police Squad, Angel Manager. He's in Star Trek: The Next Generation episode The Big Goodbye as Cyrus Redblock.
No way.
He's in two Star Trek shows as different
The
characters.
Big Goodbye. I think The Big Goodbye that won a bunch of Emmys, I think, too, for writing. I could be
So,
wrong. I think it was, yeah, that's awesome though. I
I
knew I
mean,
recognized him from somewhere.
oh yeah, this guy is definitely he's like classic old school Hollywood. So he's been around. He's been acting since the 40s, Greg. So
Damn.
yeah, this guy has been around. So the woman, the unknown woman at this time, is buying a list of telephone numbers. Unfortunately for her, Lawrence Tierney is asking for more money now, and you're kind of thinking like, okay, like this, he's a pretty physically imposing man for being an older person. And
Yeah.
she seemed obviously she's a woman. I'm not being sexist or anything like that, but I think like one good hit, he could probably take her down. Uh, but this woman's got fucking claws. Like she immediately like takes out a fucking gun and she's like, I don't fucking think so. Like we're not doing this.
Yeah.
And she's like, I want you to go, ah.
Like at a doctor's office.
She
Say,
you don't get to see it, but she fucking blows his head off. It's
oh my,
insane.
I, Phil, I love this scene so much because I was so like, we've seen a lot of these trashy movies, right? And there's lots of familiar tropes. One of them being the women of this actress's age, they are, like I said before, like they're cast as the mothers or the wives. You think, I mean, before this scene, I would have bet anything that she was like a wife or a mother who was desperate to find someone or to get justice for some, like a family member or something, and she had to like get in bed with this sleazy PI to find information that she was like going to be taken advantage of. I was so not expecting this character to be our main villain. And
Exactly.
like when not only when she pulled the gun, like I thought she pulled the gun because she's desperate, but she's like nervous about it. When she killed this guy, I was like practically flat on my chair. I was not expecting it whatsoever. What a cool surprise.
Most definitely. It's always interesting when the bad guy is a woman, right?
Yeah, oh,
It's a
yeah.
little, it's very rarely seen that the killer in the film is a woman.
Yeah, and I don't want to spoil it too much, but like she's a psycho. Like she's basically the serial killer type that we get in like the 10 to Midnights and other movies like that.
Isn't it
But it's
interesting that, yeah, as you say, 10 to midnight, the killer in that one was very interesting, but we don't get to spend a lot of time with those characters. Like she is a very interesting person.
oh yeah, really really interesting character. And I think yeah, like and again, it's the fact that she's not only a woman but also like an older woman. Like she's not like a 20 something like like a pretty face that they would cast in
Like a
this
femme
role.
fatale, a
Yeah,
Lolita
exactly.
type character, right? Where
Yeah.
she's whining, dining, but not 69ing. She's fucking blowing people's brains out.
Fucking blown. Yeah, exactly. Like it's such a play against type for the actress. Yeah, it's awesome. Really, really unexpected.
We cut to Charles Bronson, who has another bag of groceries. Unfortunately, he doesn't fucking throw it at anything. He just carries it inside of his house.
I'm so glad that I'm not the only one who notices. Like, boy, I sure hope these eggs make it in the house to the fridge this time.
I swear to God, it even looks like the bag is set up the same way as it was in the beginning of the film. Like, I think there must be like a science behind setting up a
Building a
grocery
grocery
bag
bag,
to make it, or else it just looks like groceries, right? Like, you have to have notable objects sticking out of your grocery bag to make you
like a
go, it's groceries.
it's you know it's three things. It's celery, it's a baguette, and it's eggs. Those
Yeah.
are the things you put on the top of your movie grocery bag. And you're 100% right. This was a prop that someone like some intern had to like glue together so that it could be easily carried and not like fall apart.
Exactly. Chucky B, he gets his final decree of divorce inside of the mail, and he looks longingly into the distance, sad, because he
Mm.
misses his wife. uh as he gets inside, the phone is ringing and there's no one on the other end the first time, but then it rings again, and it's our mystery woman. She threatens to kill Charles Bronson, but first she's gonna mess with him and his
I'm,
life.
I'm gonna make your life hell.
Yeah.
Again, I can't say it enough. Like the fact that yeah, like a crazy lady, older lady, psycho serial killer making creepy phone calls. Awesome.
I mean, she probably could have made his life hell immediately by snatching that fucking toupee off of his head. But I mean, that's neither here nor there.
Everyone's gonna see you're bald.
Exactly.
You wouldn't dare.
We go back to the police station, and yeah, everyone's making fun of Charles Bronson because he looks a little schlubby inside of his suit. Um,
Yeah, it's all wrinkly. He's got stains on his tie. Hair looks like garbage
we
because it's a
find
toupee.
yeah, exactly. We find out that his wife is a stripper at, the local club, and one of the cops has like the most bizarre offhanded insults, comments, sexisms about his wife. He's like, hey, I've seen your wife down at the club, her boobs look great, do they taste great too? And it's
They
just like,
taste as good as they look. Ugh.
it's like, what
Who says that?
what
Like, and rightfully so, he gets fucking clocked in the face by Charles Bronson. Like, what was that guy expecting?
I don't know what his end game was.
Yeah, I went right for the jugular on that one.
Like, he could have just said, like, she doesn't dance that well, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, she looks like shit. I mean, again, it's this movie. It makes such interesting, unique choices, like to make the ex-wife an exotic dancer. Like it doesn't. play into the plot all that much, but like they could have just as easily made her not have a career at all in a lot of these movies, right? Like they didn't
Exactly.
have to do that, but
Like
they
she
did.
just went with the better man, but it seems like she actively, the little information that we get, she actively chose to become a stripper
Yeah,
and
she's proud of
wants
it.
that
She's like,
life. Yeah.
it is dancing. I love it. It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's just kind of interesting little, unique choices.
More power to her. We'll get there eventually. But first,
Yeah.
Charles Bronson's hot on the trail of Vincenzo, who's at the local airport, and he's taken a stewardess hostage. And maybe like 10 steps going down the gangway, he just blows her fucking head off.
He gets around a corner and then just blows her head off and then discards her. He keeps running. You don't
It's
expect that.
yeah, it was a definitely an interesting choice and a great squib too, because like the blood splatter on the wall, it was great.
Yeah. It's one of those where like you see him shoot her from the front and then there's like a little like pneumatic tube behind her head that like blows paint and stuff on the wall behind her. Yeah, it just looks great.
Charles Bronson rounds the corner and he fucking shoots him right in the chest. Uh, Really cool, but it's interesting because his partner that's with him, who kind of barely plays a role in the entire film, he looks at Charles Bronson kind of disappointedly, like, I can't believe you fucking killed him.
Yeah, I
Did
like
you
what
get
was
that?
yeah, I got that look too, which is surprising because this guy just killed an innocent woman in cold blood. Like
Yeah,
at that point, you open fire. Like this guy is seriously dangerous. You need to flatten him now. I don't
exactly.
know.
It was it was such an odd like character emotion choice. But we cut to Vincenzo's funeral, and that's when Mama's like, fucking kill Charles Bronson.
I want
And
him crucified.
exactly. But there's nothing I like doing after a hard day of shooting Italian mobsters in the airport, than relaxing in a strip joint watching my ex-wife dance.
It's, I mean, I think we've talked about this before. Strip clubs are weird places, but
They are.
not only is it weird to sit in a room with a bunch of dudes looking at naked ladies, but why would you go to the strip club where your ex-wife is dancing? I mean, talk about like putting salt in the wound, dude.
Yeah. And I know he has the unrequited love aspect where he is still amorous for his wife. With I mean, at least physically, with great reason. She's very attractive. Obviously, she's
Yeah.
stripping. And I will say this: I thought at first, because the way that she's dancing and stuff like that, you really just see her butt. You don't really see her boobs. I was like, man, fucking Cannon's restraining themselves, but then they don't.
But
Uh,
yeah, he should have known better, Phil.
uh, I could see like maybe in the 80s on your VHS, you wouldn't be able to see it that well, but with a Blu-ray, everything is on display. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, so she kind of like makes eye contact and sees that Charles Bronson is there, and then they have a quick conversation that we already just talked about it, where he's like, "I still love you." She likes dancing.
Yeah, what are you doing at a place like this? She's like, I like this place. Like, I am, she's proud of the career, and he's just being kind of a dick.
Yeah, he's like, "You're a whore." I was like, "Whoa."
Whoa.
Whoa, she is dating the club owner. That plot thread goes absolutely nowhere. I for sure thought that was going to play into something. You
Yeah.
know, it just seems like one of those low hanging fruit. Plot threads of like the club manager somehow is involved with fucking with Charles Bronson.
Yeah, exactly. He's in bed with the Vincenzo and the whole mob thing. Yeah. But it's at least they at least tried to characterize them a little bit, which is you can appreciate.
I can appreciate that they went the alternate route of his unrequited love as opposed to him just being like, my wife is dead, right?
Yeah.
So it is entering spoilers that they don't reunite. There is no um there is no like Charles Bronson at the end where he's like, I got my wife back, everything is great.
In a Charles Bronson movie, they are not going to pass up an opportunity to generate some vengeance.
Exactly. uh Charles Bronson his character is definitely into voyeurism because he follows his wife after work and he watches her mess around with her new boyfriend as he
Did,
peeks through the window and drinks
did
from a flask.
I know what a creep tailing his ex-wife. Like she's not like a bad person. Like she just has done nothing to earn being tailed. Like she's not in danger. Charles Bronson's just a weirdo.
It's it you're right. She doesn't do drugs. There again, like we just said it, but there she is not a villain or of any kind in this film. So it is very
Uh,
interesting that I don't know. Yeah. If this was 2022, which is the year that we live in, he would be and it was still it's still sex work. Charles Bronson would be watching her OnlyFans like stream, right?
It's even creepy to think about. 65-year-old man watching OnlyFans. Ooh.
So that's my wife. Sends a tip. It's the next day, and Charles Bronson's at a flea market, and he realized it kind of looks like a flea market. I don't know. He's buying more alcohol because that's my character.
Yeah,
And he finds his
the carjacker.
the carjacker from the beginning of the film. He keys off that it's her because she says something like, "Hey, watch it, Dick Cheese," or something like that to some guy who innocently bumps into her.
Yeah, she's just super aggressive. But yeah, that tips him off. He's like, no one I recognize that middle school humor anywhere.
Exactly. Thus ensues a not that exciting foot chase through salted meats and vegetables and
It's
it
like
all
a, it's like a, it's like an open air market almost.
yeah
It's
yeah
weird that they would have like a liquor store in there, but I don't know.
it's a wet market. It's where we got coronavirus. Uh
I'm gonna get some tasty pangolin meat.
exactly. Bronson eventually comes into the woman's bathroom as he peeps through every stall to find her.
He does.
How
Uh,
I mean, I understand that he's hot on the trail of a perp, but it does look kind of weird. Eventually, he does arrest her, but not after she tries to kick him in the dick again and calls him a like, oh, you're gonna rape me, you're gonna do this to me again. Just the insults are so grating and not good,
yeah,
right?
and they're flying like mile a minute.
It is. You can see the writers in their writing room just like cracking themselves up over the shit that they're making her say.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't as annoying when you're reading it on the page.
And I gotta say, like, I'm surprised. Kathleen Wilhoit, who plays this character, she's still an actress today, and I'm surprised.
Oh,
And I know this might sound horrible that this didn't kill her fucking career, because if she came in post Murphy's Law and was like, this is what I did, I'd be
yeah.
like, oh my god, I know like you didn't write the dialogue, but this is fucking brutal.
Yeah, it's yeah, you do kind of feel bad because like, yeah, she didn't write these lines. She's just saying the lines that they were given, unless they told her to ad lib insults, which honestly, that wouldn't surprise me either. But yeah, you
That's
kind of
the
feel a little bad for
director's
the
fault.
actress. Yeah,
That
exactly.
if the director is going like ad lib and that's what you come up with and they're still like print it, that's the director's fault.
Yeah, it's like, can we talk about those insults? They're kind of dumb.
We didn't bring it up, but this actress was Pepper Ann in the TV cartoon Pepper Ann. Did you ever watch that as a kid? The
Uh,
quirky adventures of a 12-year-old girl trying to get through life with her family and friends. It was like
Pepper
on,
Ann.
yeah,
Oh,
it was a
okay. I
pretty
looked it
popular
up.
cartoon.
It looks, yeah, I recognize the character, the animated character. Yeah. Huh.
She's a lot of stuff. Unfortunately, no Star Trek though, but yeah, still acting to this day.
Were you even an
Kudos.
actor or actress in the 90s if you weren't in a Star Trek show? Come on now.
Exactly. If you were an adult in the 80s and you were on Star Trek, get the fuck
Get the
out of
fuck out of my
Hollywood.
face. Love it.
um, but they're gonna book her, and again, just more insults. And what do you do after arresting your carjacker, Greg? You go back to the strip club to watch your ex-wife strip some more.
Round two. Yep, that'll make me feel better.
The guy is just a glutton for punishment. And again, he, just calls his wife a whore. And She drives away and into the night. It's raining now. You can tell
Yes.
something
Because
is
water
gonna
outside.
something is gonna happen. And Charles Bronson gets like knocked out, right? He gets like knocked out.
Yeah, because they're like he's doing the same thing he did last time, where he's planning to just like trail his ex-wife home back to their apartment. And when he gets in his car to follow him back home, he gets clocked in the back of the head with like a brick or something. You don't really get a good
Yeah.
look at it.
And then a mystery person enters the car and starts to follow his ex-wife. Uh, and we find out in a quick flash that it's actually the mystery woman. The mystery
Mm-hmm.
person is the mystery woman, and she takes out Charles Bronson's gun, and fucking shoots both her boyfriend and the ex-wife.
It's a grisly drive-by too. Like another case where like you get really big, like juicy squibs on these characters, both the ex-wife and the club owner boyfriend.
Glass
It's yeah,
shattering.
brutal.
It was very good,
Yeah.
very good. And then she drives Charles Bronson home, tucks his gun into the holster, and he kind of like wakes up. And I'm assuming he's like, was I in a drunken stupor or something? Right?
Somehow I got home.
Uh, we cut back to the murder scene, and nerd number one is like, yeah, I saw Charles Bronson's car. Here's the license plate for it.
Nerd. You knew he was in there when he was sticking his head out the window. He
Exactly.
had
I
that
mean,
look.
Greg, would you fucking remember a license plate?
Hell no.
I know. I
Like
don't even know
not
my own.
not only could he, oh yeah, same here. I have to take a picture of that shit every time. But like not only would he not remember it, there's no way he saw that. It was like nighttime, it was raining, he was sticking his head out the window. It was probably like at least 100 feet away, probably more. This car was speeding away. Yeah, like hell you saw that license plate number, dude.
Exactly. It would be such a case of like I don't see, based off of the one eyewitness, that they would be able to like take his word for it. But I mean, I guess they do have more evidence that links Charles Bronson to the murder, because that's exactly what's about to happen. The cops show up to Charles Bronson's place and they arrest him for the murder of his ex-wife and her lover. They got the bullets that match the gun. The gun is Charles Bronson, and they have an eyewitness that it was his car.
And they've got the motive because they know he's been broken up about the divorce and that he's been creeping on her basically, and he's an alcoholic. So it's a pretty damning frame up basically.
Exactly. And he gets thrown into holding with his buddy,
The foul mouthed carjacker girl.
Arabella McGee, which again, she's immediately like, "What'd you do? Rape a nun?" It was just like, whoa.
I wrote that one down too. That was pretty like again, this girl's line. They insult just like right from 0 to 11.
Yeah. Charles Bronson starts a little kerfuffle with her, and he takes advantage of the situation by, when the guard enters, he takes his gun, and they make a daring escape from the police headquarters. I mean, they do a couple smart things here where like they call the elevator and they send it down, right? And the cops are like, it's going to the bottom floor. Like, we got to go to the bottom floor.
Oh
Well,
yeah, I actually thought that was like just like a weird mistake at first because he calls the elevator and then like they go for the stairs. I guess I at first I thought it was like, oh, it's the elevator's not getting there fast enough, but it was a pretty clever diversion. Turns out.
yeah. Uh, and so as they get to the top of the building, there's a fucking obviously. I don't know
Of
why I say
course,
obviously, but there's a fucking helicopter at the
it's an
top.
action movie.
And Bronson's like, yeah, I flew one of those in Nam. It's been about 20 years since I've done this though. But he flies it perfectly. The only issue that he had is that they quickly run out of fuel and they land on top of a barn. And I kind of like this exchange here,
Mhm.
because as Bronson and Arabella are talking, you can hear the barn roof creaking and cracking.
Yeah,
Again, there's like a little bit of intelligence here with the film and like the sound design and stuff.
yeah. I like because like they're running out of gas and they're like, and she's freaking out because they think they're gonna crash, and then oh no, it turns out he managed to bring it down basically like 100% smoothly on that barn roof. Like I like that like something. It shouldn't have been that easy, and it turned out it wasn't because the barn roof collapses and the helicopter falls in and the roof caves in on top of them.
And then they just so happened to have landed on a marijuana, I guess, dispensary. I mean, this is before marijuana has been legalized, but they're illegally growing marijuana here. So there's a gang of idiots. One of them being from Die Hard. Did you notice that?
No, which one was it? I mean, they're all various stages of filthy. Was it the main guy?
It wasn't the main guy. There is a guy who has blonde hair and it's kind of feathered. He's the terrorist who plays like the lobby security guard in Die Hard.
Oh, the guy in the beginning, well, he makes the joke about like having money on the basketball
Yeah,
game.
he's like, not at all, officer. Yeah.
Not at all, officer. Come on
So
in.
exactly. So yeah, it was I was immediately I was like, hey, I fucking know that
Yeah,
guy. Pretty
cool.
interesting. Um, it's a pretty funny scene because, well, I guess I won't say it's fun or funny in the beginning because they knock Charles Bronson out and then they're immediately like, let's fucking rape this
Time
girl.
to rape this girl because it's a canon movie, but it does rein itself in.
Bronson does save her. And I guess it's fun because Bronson immediately gets like an M16 and he's like, if any of you come after us, I'll blow your fucking head off.
Oh, Charles Bronson. No subtlety there.
Exactly. But they get away, and this part right here, Greg, this next 15 minutes is the biggest knock against the film because I could see the writers going, okay, so they got away from the drug people. Charles
Mhm.
Bronson's now hurt. What do we do next? Because now he's in the woods. He's not in the big city.
Yeah.
Oh, he just so happens to have a buddy who lives right down the road from these drug mule people.
Yeah. It's a little too, you're right. It's a little too convenient, like plot wise. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But they show up to this cabin. Unbeknownst to Arabella, it is owned by an old cop friend of Charles Bronson.
Did you recognize this cabin, Phil?
I am I is this
It's
from Friday the 13th part 4, the
it
final
is
chapter?
it is the cabin from Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter.
That's amazing. That's
Right?
amazing that it's real, right?
This,
Like it
yeah.
wasn't a set.
Yeah, apparently it's a real cabin with a real address. I knew I looked it up. I knew it was from Friday the 13th, but this cabin is practically famous in itself. It's been in tons of movies and TV shows.
I wonder how much it
Um,
would cost to rent it.
when I was looking it up, it actually I saw it that was actually up for sale in like 10 years ago, 2012, 2013 or so.
Oh,
I
really?
Yeah, so I would assume it's still under private ownership, but yeah, how cool would that be if it was like an Airbnb or something and you could stay in that cabin for a weekend?
That would be awesome.
How cool, right? They probably booked solid for the next 10 years though for all the Friday the 13th fans out there.
Oh, most definitely. I would love that. That would be super cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, so the owner of the cabin shows up, and this guy is definitely a that guy kind of character.
Yeah,
Bill
he looked familiar
Henderson,
too.
he plays Ben Wilco. Bill Henderson has been in movies like Clue as the cop, City Slickers, Ben Jessup. He was in Maverick. Have you ever seen Maverick with Jodie Foster and
I
Mel
haven't.
Gibson? That's a pretty
Good.
good film. Pretty fun, funny. But yeah, this guy has been in tons of shit.
Just a
Twilight
hardworking
Zone.
character actor.
Oh yeah.
Star Trek? Is he in
No
Star Trek, Phil?
Star Trek.
I
No Star Trek.
guess it's too much to ask for more than one Star Trek actor per episode.
Exactly. How crazy would it be if Charles Bronson was in a Star Trek episode?
Oh my god, there have been a lot of weird cameos, especially in TNG. It wasn't like somewhat like remember that episode of TNG where there's like those fish monsters and they're like hibernating and they've got those big jars of like fish that they eat as their food. Do you remember that episode? They're like big purple fish people.
Kinda.
Apparently, I don't remember who it was, but apparently one of those fish people is like a really famous actor. They just wanted to do a cameo.
That's
I need to,
awesome.
I'll look it up and we'll talk about it at the end.
That's gotta be. pretty cool if once you get to that level of fame where you're like, I just want a cameo in your episode. As it's like when you find out that what's his name? He played Batman in Batman and Robin. I can't think of his name. George
George
Clooney.
Clooney.
That
Yeah.
George
Oh,
Clooney played the fucking dog in South
in South
Park.
Park. Yeah. Just whatever you want to give me.
Exactly.
So it was Mick Fleetwood,
Oh, really?
right?
That's weird.
I mean, that's a I mean, that's doesn't get much bigger name than that in terms of music. So like, yeah, this is so funny. Like, oh, I love Star Trek. I would love to be in that. And they cast him as a fish monster where you can't even see his face. So
So
cool.
that is so cool. But yeah, Arabella has now met Charles Bronson's friend, and they stitch him up, and they kind of get him better. There's the next morning, Arabella makes Bronson a really questionable omelet, which he refuses to eat, rightfully so, but he's kind of a dick to her about it as well.
I've already got my breakfast. This is Jack. Welcome to Jack Daniels. Mm.
Yeah, exactly. And then obviously his friend is kind of like, hey, she was trying to connect with you. You should be a little more
Less of a
open.
douche.
Yeah, less of a douchebag. Which Bronson, agrees. And as quickly as we're introduced to this character, Bronson and Arabella leave, and it's time for him to die because he only introduced people in Charles Bronson films really to kill them. Because as Bronson and Arabella are leaving, you see the POV shot of the killer. And you kind of get like a Friday the 13th kind of stinger now that I think about it. There's like,
Yeah.
that's like the piano, like, boom, boom.
Do.
But yeah, the unknown lady shows up into the cabin and fucking shoots him with a double barrel shotgun.
Like a big elephant gun, just blows this dude away.
And she gets like a blood splatter on her face.
Yeah,
It's again really good.
I love that. I love those shots. I'm always like a sucker for those. Where I think they make fun of it all the time in TV shows too, where like it's like a shot, like the camera's underneath the actor and they're kind of looking up, and the actor's looking down, and then the blood splatter just kind of like shoots up onto their face in a close up. It's such a cool dramatic thing. But like again, you don't see shots like that of from like women killers. It's just so unique.
And you can kind of like tell, I don't know, maybe I'm putting something into the film, but it looks like she's getting off when she is definitely relishing in the fact that she's murdering these people.
Oh yeah, I think like you get like a little bit of a smirk on her face with the blood splatter.
Exactly.
It's definitely cold-blooded.
But yeah, so now Arabella and Bronson are going back to the city so they can try to investigate, how these two are being framed for all of these murders. And they have like these quick character moments that I kind of work and kind of don't, where
They're trying to
Arabella,
bond.
exactly, Arabella's like, I'm going to be on my own. And then Bronson's like, no, you're not. And then later on, Bronson's like, get out of here, go on your own. And Arabella's like, no, I'm sticking with you to the end. And
You're all I got.
you're all I got.
Yeah.
But we cut back to the more interesting plot of the mysterious woman as she puts on a red wig, and she's eating some Italian food at a restaurant while she oogles a older man that we don't really know who he is at this time. And she Black Widows him. They go back to they go back to, I don't, what the fuck is this, Greg? Is this his bathroom?
Yeah, we got to talk about this weird bathroom. So it's definitely a hotel or something, but like the bathroom is like, imagine a stairwell down into a basement, only it's like all tiled, and it just like the stairs go down and it just ends into like a whole, like a big bathtub area. It's the weirdest looking. I can't even describe it. It's just so weird looking.
It is, because there's all these exposed hard steel pipes.
Oh yeah, all the copper plumbing is exposed too. It looks like it. I can't describe it. It looks like it's a basement, but it's tiled. I don't know. I can't describe it.
But what's even creepier is this guy is like getting off on her, tickling his feet
in the bathtub.
She's giving him a bath, and she's like, "Oh, you're a ticklish one," and he's like, "Yeah, I am."
Oh, when's the last time someone gave me a bath? Oh.
I can't remember the last time anyone. I don't have memories. They don't go far that back.
But I don't know. I felt maybe you'd like it. This guy did.
I yeah. She takes him out like a chump. I know that this guy is on the older side of the spectrum, probably in his 60s, but your
Mhm.
legs, the bottom part of your body is definitely pretty strong. He should have been able to, I would have assumed, kicked her away.
Yeah, so she's like tickling his feet and then grabs his ankles and does that thing where like she like pulls up on his ankles so that his back and his head fall in the water and he can't like get leverage to get above the water to breathe and he just drowns. Yeah, like it's weird that she'd be able to hang on to his legs while he's thrashing like that.
Yeah, kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then after drowning him, she throws a lamp that's plugged in and electrocutes him.
Yeah, for just for good measure, you never know.
And then she takes off the wig, she runs her hand through her hair and gets DNA evidence everywhere. But since this is the mid 80s, I don't think DNA evidence is really a thing at this time.
Not in Charles Bronson universe.
Again, that's kind of weird. Like, if she's obviously a very methodical killer, you think that she would be aware that she's leaving evidence behind.
Yeah, if she was smart enough to put a wig on to like change her appearance for bystanders and witnesses, that she would also avoid that. But whatever. I can
Yeah.
give it a pass.
Oh yeah, we'll give it a pass. I can hand wave a lot of stuff for Charles Bronson.
Mm-hmm.
Charles Bronson and Arabella, they pull up to the El Royale Hotel, where there's, I mean, you realize why there's cops, because they're protecting Vincenzo, who's at the top penthouse of this place. So Arabella goes in. She puts her feminine wilds to work as she seduces one of the cops, and the other one goes to, in quotes, change her tire, right?
Wink,
Because
wink.
it's flat. Um, Bronson quickly knocks that guy out, and Arabella's taking the cop up to one of the penthouses for some passionate love making.
Phil, what is this? Just the worst cop ever? Like this is so obviously a trick, isn't it?
Yeah, this is 80s cop to a T, though, right? If
Oh
I was an
yeah,
80s cop, I would fall for this.
it's true. It's wow, she's come on to me real high. Wants me to take her upstairs into this like hotel that I'm supposed to be guarding, and he sign me up, Bucker.
If we were both 80s cops, it would be like, I've seen this in a Charles Bronson film. And you'd be like, yeah, he gets fucking murdered though. Like, well, I'm gonna roll those dice.
Yeah, that won't happen here. I'm pretty
uh,
sure.
but yeah, it's again, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. And it gets kind of weirder because she has like a double secret identity in this one like thread, right? So she they do the tasteful thing. While she does take her top off, she still has her bra on. uh Charles
It's
Bronson
true.
breaks
Yeah.
in and knocks the security guard out before it gets too far, but Arabella thinks it's been too far already,
What
and she
took you so
kind of,
long?
yeah, I think this is where butt crust comes in. What took you so long, butt crust?
just like what a sexy thing to say.
Exactly. Now Arabella goes to the top floor of the penthouse to deliver pizza. And the guards there are like, you can only get here if you got a security card. She's like, well, I got up here. And then she pulls out a gun. And her
Where
and Bronson knock these guards out. Yeah, where did she get it?
yeah, where did she get the pizza box? I mean, it's a good ploy to pretend like it's a classic, pretending to be a pizza delivery person, but where did she get the pizza box? I don't think we saw that in the beginning, did we? In the lobby?
No, we didn't.
I don't know. Oh, also, we got to talk like not only like where the hell did she get the pizza box, but she says, Phil, that I've got a large sausage and mushroom pizza. Phil, this box is not a large pizza.
No.
This thing is like it's like a personal like 11-inch pizza.
Yeah, it's she needs to get her fucking story straight, Greg.
That'd be great if that's what tip the cop. I was like, that's not a large pizza at all.
You
Freeze.
we would need to write a movie that's set in the 80s where the cops act like 80s cops, but the bad guys act smart as if they're modern day. And they're just like, none of your ruses are working. Like, that's not a large pizza. That's a medium.
Uh, Tony's Pizza doesn't have large mushroom and sausage pizzas.
Exactly.
Freeze.
Like the leap of logic that the bad guys have to get in order to prove the cops wrong is so absurd, right? I don't know. It would be
Oh,
interesting.
classic 80s cops. Don't know how big pieces are.
Also, classic 80s mobsters as we cut to Vincenzo, who is watching a blue film as he gets his abdomen sucked by a woman in a G string.
Yeah, what the hell is happening? She like she's like leech. She's like a leech. She just like locked onto his stomach and just sucking on it. It's the
I don't
weirdest thing
know.
ever.
It is so unerotic. There's nothing more unerotic than the sound of wet, like in
Yeah,
a
it's like
movie, like the wet, like yeah, like a fucking dog drinking water.
it's weirdly accurate, but yeah. And it's like it's that plus this guy, this bad mafioso guy going, yeah, do it, yeah,
Yeah.
that's real good, do it. No one want to
Um,
hear that.
but Bronson gets in before she goes too far south, and he starts beating them for information. He empties the gun, his revolver, except for one bullet, and he starts playing Russian roulette with Vincenzo to get some information of who's murdering his friends. This is a really great scene. This guy, this actor, he
Oh, the
plays terrified really well.
right. I commented on that too. Like this mob guy, he is scared shitless. He's like
Yes.
crying and like squealing and just like cowering in fear. He like, I think he like throws up at the last second before we cut away. Like,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, whatever direction or this guy, whatever he channeled to get this performance was, it's awesome. Like he killed it.
Yeah, with every false gunfire, he gets more and more terrified.
Yeah, just
And
whimpering.
yeah, as you said, right before we end the scene, before Arabella's like, this guy doesn't know anything, he vomits in his hand. And that got an audible whoa from me
Oh,
that they went that far with it. I was like, whoa, that's insane that they fucking did that.
yeah, that's like more. Yeah, tons of credit to the mafioso guy. Like earlier, like in the beginning when they introduce him, you think he's just like token Italian mobster character, but yeah, this guy really gets a lot of credit in this scene.
The actor here, his name is Richard Romanus. He's been in a couple other things. He's played other Italian mobsters. He was in The Sopranos,
Okay.
NYPD Blue, stuff like that. But are you ready for this? Here's a connection to a previous film that we've watched. He is the brother of Robert Romanus, who is Mike Damone from Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Damone, the scalper who loves milk.
Yep. Yep. Isn't that weird?
Really?
The age gap between the
That's
two
a
is
that's a huge age gap. I mean, Damone in Fast Times is probably like, I mean, the actor, he's probably like 20, 22, something like that, right?
yeah, it's a
Playing a
13-year
teenager.
age gap between them.
Hmm, man, who knew? Clearly,
It's
he's we know who the more talented Romanos, whatever.
Romanus. What a name, right?
Romanus.
Richard Romanus, starring Richard Romanus. He's probably never heard that in his
I
life.
was gonna
But
say that's, oh, poor Richard.
poor Richard. I make fun of you, but you were really great in this scene and pretty good in this movie. So no
Yeah.
Star Trek though, so fuck you. Um, but they leave Richard in his puke filled hand to sob in the El Royale as Bronson and Arabella go to their cop friend who's living the Miami Vice life. I don't understand how this cop has such a nice house.
Yeah, we're back to that partner who's got this like penthouse apartment. It's huge too, and it's like it's not just the size of it, but it's the way it's decorated. It looks like how you would decorate a rich person's apartment in a
Yeah.
movie with like, just like tons of stuff, and he's got like that big bar with all the fancy liquor on it. It just, yeah, like it's not what you expect when you think of like a downtown, homicide detective.
Bronson and Arabella are essentially like, yeah, we're being framed. The cop is like, you need to find evidence or else there's really nothing that we can prove, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then we cut back to Vincenzo, and he's talking to his, I guess, like party of 5 mafiosos that work for him. And he's like, we got to fucking kill Bronson. And I can't believe you let him get inside of here.
How much am I paying you guys to protect me?
I'm so disappointed.
Yeah.
Yes, Dad.
So what's interesting is I think I don't think those are like security guards or hired goons. I think those are cops. Like I think
Yeah,
like
they're
they're
on
like
the.
the yeah, they're just crooked cops because I think one of the guys in the lobby, the one that the girl takes upstairs, he's in his like blues, which is really strange that he'd be like an on-duty cop, playing guard duty for this mafioso. I don't know.
I don't know, but it's okay because we're going to cut to Charles Bronson and Arabella, and they argue about mayo on sandwiches and whether or not it
Yeah.
should be on there.
Phil, do you like mayonnaise?
I like a thin layer of mayonnaise on a turkey sandwich after Thanksgiving. Other than that, I really don't do
That
mayonnaise on anything.
that is an oddly specific
Yep.
situation to like mayonnaise in.
Mm,
No, yeah, a sandwich that mayonnaise just feels dry to me, I think.
I put like mustard on my sandwiches.
I like a little bit of spicy brown mustard, a little bit of mayonnaise. But that's not even the gross thing about these sandwiches in this movie. Like they're like it's like 90% bologna. I am not a fan of bologna at all.
Yeah. I think I get into moods for bologna. They're short and infrequent, but I'm not
And then
a
I feel
bologna
guilty afterwards.
connoisseur. I'll say this. I'll take it one step further. If I really don't. I will eat a sandwich. It is not my go-to. It is when I eat a sandwich. If I can't fucking think of what else I would want to eat, but I have to eat something.
And a sandwich, yeah. No, I love me a sandwich. As you know, I'm a
I
creature of
know.
habit.
Yeah.
I bring a turkey sandwich with pepper jack and mayonnaise and mustard almost every day for lunch.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yep. And that's why. Hey. My wife Jackie, she loves sandwiches. That's like her go-to. She fucking loves
Yep.
sandwiches. So
Sandwich and some chips. Now here's a real hack that everyone probably already knows, but I'll say it anyway. A couple of salt and vinegar chips put them on your sandwich for a little bit of crunch. Now you're living the high life.
you fucking Guy Fieri over here. Welcome to Flavor
welcome
Town.
to welcome to flavor country.
um
But now Charles Bronson, he's a weirdo. He doesn't like mayonnaise. Jerk.
I will say this. Arabella is the fucking weirdo. So as Arabella and Bronson sit down, Arabella, being the 22-year-old young female, starts essentially going, yeah, I fucking love old dudes. You want to show me if your gun still works? And
Yeah,
like, what the
this is
fuck?
totally uncalled for. Like, I, I, I'm glad that they didn't lean into this too much. Like, they didn't try to force a romance between them because it always felt more like a father-daughter kind of thing.
Exactly.
Which is and that it was great as that. Like, she's kind of she's on her own on the streets trying to scrape together a living, jacking cars, just trying to stay alive. And he's kind of down as like cop whose marriage just ended. Like it makes perfect sense for there to be like a father daughter or like just like a friendship there. But we did not need her talking about Charles Bronson's gun.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Instead of jacking cars, she's trying to jack off the fucking Grim Reaper over here.
If you've got that quote, play it now.
Yeah, it's so disgusting. But yeah, again, thankfully this is the only moment that they have this May December type conversation between the two, right?
Yeah, thankfully it
So
ends here.
but Bronson gets it. The only reason it doesn't go any farther is because Bronson gets a phone call from his cop buddy who's like, these are the people who you've arrested that recently got released.
Who might be the killer, who's got probable cause.
And they're able to, I mean, it's only like three people. I guess maybe Bronson's just a really shitty cop in this. But they're able to narrow it down to Joan Freeman, because as the cop buddy is reading off the list, he's like, Joan Freeman, who was the judge for that? And she was like, Judge Kellerman. And he has a newspaper conveniently in front of him that's like, Judge Kellerman's just been fucking murdered.
Just killed. That's the guy who got the tickle torture in the weird bathtub.
And since Bronson is now in on it with the audience, we cut to Joan Freeman, who's lifting weights in front of her social worker.
I think like a probation officer, or no,
Probation officer.
not a probation officer. I think she was her defense attorney.
Yeah. And they're having conversations of like, did you take the job? And she's like, no, Joan's like, I found a new calling, a new reason. And she gives this lady a picture book,
Yeah, like a photo album.
a
Yeah.
photo album. That's what I'm looking for. That's the fucking boomer word. No one has a fucking photo album anymore.
No, hands her phone to look at Instagram.
Isn't that weird that at one point our parents just had books devoted to photos?
Yeah, yeah. That's. I'm sure a lot of companies who manufacture photo albums they went out of business. Ain't no one making photo albums anymore.
Yeah, that's wild to think about. That's
Remember
wild to
physical
think
media?
about. That like you used to have to take photos and get them processed and you got them back and then you would have to, because photos are so disposable nowadays. You can take so many of them and they just get uploaded to the cloud, right? and
Yep.
and you don't really have that need for, oh man, this is a hard tangent. You don't have that need for them to be perfect because you only get one shot. Now you have thousands of shots, you have
Yeah.
thousands of tries.
I mean, that's how I take pictures when we're out on a hike or something. I'll take like, 90% of it will be crap, but I'll get some good ones in there. And those are the ones you post. So it looks like, it's kind of, seeing how the sausage is made is mostly garbage in there. But because you can take a million shots, why not take a whole bunch? And one of them are bound to turn out good.
Exactly. But Joan Freeman, all of her shots are gold. And as she's looking it over with her lawyer, uh, she's the lawyer's getting kind of confused, and Joan starts to devolve into her psychosis of being insane. And she's like, you really should have kept me locked up. And that's when it
Yeah.
dawns on the lawyer, but it's too late. And she gets choked to death.
With an extension cord or something
Yeah,
improvised. Yeah. Again, it's like she really sells the psychosis in the scene. Like I love that line, like you should have kept me locked up or you never should have let me out. That's so
yep,
cool.
yep. Yeah, especially because for all intents and purposes, this doctor, this lawyer, is an innocent person. In fact, she's helped Joan get out of jail, yet Joan is still willing to murder her
Yeah, it's kind of I mean, I
for
guess
no
at this
gain.
I guess at this point you realize her motivation is like I'm going after everyone who was even tangentially involved in putting me in prison. And I guess it's a little bit looser to blame your defender, but I mean, I guess you didn't do a good enough job at the trial to keep me out of jail, so I'm going to kill you for it.
Exactly.
I guess, yeah,
But now that Bronson has a name to the killer, he immediately goes to the hotel that she's staying at. I don't know how. I don't know how he knows. Maybe this is just a place where ex-convicts go after getting released from jail, but he's able to track her down almost immediately.
yeah.
Unfortunately for Bronson, though, she's not there.
No, one step behind her.
But the hotel lobby clerk has alerted the police that Bronson and Arabella are there because, again, super convenient. The newspaper that he has Bronson's and Arabella's picture on there.
I,
It has wanted criminals.
I didn't, it didn't occur to me until just now that you said that. Like, there is a weird amount of convenient newspaper front page articles, and also didn't in the same day. Okay, here's another weird tangent. We've got two different front page newspaper articles that are tipping people off to information they need. Isn't that the same day?
Yeah, maybe a morning and an evening edition. Don't they have
True.
those in
Yeah.
like big cities?
Yeah, I think I don't know, not so much anymore, but maybe in the mid '80s they still had like
Do they
a morning and
still?
evening paper.
How many subscribers to a newspaper do you think, like New York City, like what was it, New York Post, right?
New York,
How
like
many
at
people?
times, yeah.
Yeah, how many people do you actually think subscribe to it?
I'm whatever
The
it is, I'm sure it's
physical.
a small fraction of what it used to be back in the '80s. That's for damn sure.
Let's see here. According to 2019, there was 230,000 daily subscribers. That's got to be a massive drop,
Oh
right?
yeah. I mean, how many people live in New York City? Like, I'm sure back in the mid '80s, like everyone in that city was subscribed or would purchase at least one paper every day.
It's crazy to think that back in the day, because I remember as a, you know, in the early 2000s using the newspaper to look up movie times,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah. We're probably the last generation to have that experience of like needing to go to a newspaper to find something before the internet became the clearinghouse for every piece of information you'd want.
How much longer do you think physical newspapers, have until they just become obsolete?
I think it probably will go out with our parents. I mean, I don't know. I think for a while we subscribed to the newspaper, but I think that was like we would get like the Sunday edition because that's where they would have like travel and arts and culture kinds of things.
Yeah.
It's like interesting writing, but like I mean, at this point, I think they give you online subscriptions with papers now, just so like to incentivize you to subscribe. In which case, they're just using the newspapers for like their birdcage liners or something.
Birdcage. I was about to say the same thing. Birdcage liners.
Oh, newspapers. But yeah, I think that probably does explain why there's two different headlines on the same paper.
We're filling in the plot holes of Murphy's Law, one scene at a time.
One scene at a time, like spackling it up.
Exactly. Bronson and Arabella, they're about to get arrested by the two detectives that have shown up on the scene. Despite the fact that Bronson and Arabella are not carrying a gun or threatening anyone, immediately the detectives open fire on them.
Oh yeah,
did you notice that?
It's like in broad daylight in like a crowded street too.
It's insane. I know it's a movie. Cops. 80s Cops. 80s Cops, the movie.
Oh yeah.
Safety be damned. We're gonna fucking shoot everyone.
Throwing grenades.
It's yeah. So, but there's explosions and there's safety standards are out the window.
Oh yeah. Speaking of explosions, we got like in this scene when they shoot at Charles Bronson, so he starts to shoot back. He's got this little pea shooter of a revolver. He fucking did you see him blow up that Cadillac and parked on the side of the road?
Yeah,
man, gotta love 80s action movies. One bullet would blow up a car instantly.
Everyone knows there's a certain spot on every car that if you shoot it, it blows up immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Bronson was just lucky.
So good thing they're keeping all that gasoline in the trunk.
Exactly. But yeah, so Bronson and Arabella, they realize that they need to get back to Vincenzo, right? They're going to Vincenzo's mansion because he somehow plays a part in the plot of this, right? Am I wrong here?
How is he still involved? Well, at this point, they know where she is because I think after Charles Bronson and Arabelle, they go to the killer's apartment or hotel. Like he's remembering how he caught her, and I guess it was at like there was some building. She had a hostage on the roof, and that's where they caught her. And then he realized like, oh, dang, like that's where she's going.
Yep. Yeah,
I think Vincenzo he's still pissed from having been, basically humiliated by Charles Bronson in his bedroom in that one scene. And I think Charles Bronson and the cops. Okay, no, sorry. Let me start over. Charles Bronson is chasing the killer, and the cops are chasing Charles Bronson. Also, Vincenzo is chasing Charles Bronson, and they all end up at the final showdown location on that building.
Exactly. And Arabella has been kidnapped conveniently by Joan, the crazy woman. This last scene, it works pretty well because, again, you got multiple bad guys in
different
on
parties. Yeah.
Joan doesn't care about any one person's safety. To her, they're all fodder for death. Then obviously Charles Bronson wants to save Arabella. I did think the one thing that didn't work though is that Joan is using a crossbow in it, and the fucking sound effect that it makes when it shoots is hilarious.
Okay, I was gonna say like the crossbow itself is dope. I love the crossbow as a choice as opposed to just like a gun. Like we've seen a guns a million times. Crossbow is awesome. You're 100% right. The sound effects, not only for the crossbow, but throughout this movie, they're dog shit. Yeah. They're either missing sometimes or they're just wrong for what you're seeing.
It sounds like someone's just whistling as the bolt goes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're like those whistling Nerf darts. Remember those?
Yes.
That's what it sounds like.
That would be even better if she was using like a Nerf bow and
A Nerf
arrow.
gun. Oh
Yeah.
my god, with a big chunky yellow darts.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love those.
It's pretty goofy, but yeah, Joan is picking off mobsters and she's also trying to kill Bronson. And it all kind of comes to a head as they Bronson gets to the top of the stairs and she gets a fire axe, right?
Mhm.
And she starts taking swings at Charles Bronson and like cuts him across the abdomen. And then she's like, okay, I'm gonna kill your friend. And we find out that Arabella is at the bottom of an elevator shaft. So now Bronson's at the top of the elevator shaft. Arabella's down at the bottom. And Joan has sent the elevator down and it's gonna crush her to death.
Yeah.
Like Emilio Estevez in Mission Impossible.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Geez, you weren't expecting him to die in so early in that movie, right?
I know that was such a shock, right?
Yeah.
Charles Bronson has the speed of a 65-year-old cheetah as he, as he runs
I'm a cheetah
downstairs.
roller.
Exactly. But he's able to save her just in the nick of time because I mean he's the hero and she's the female lead. You can't have her get squashed to death.
Yeah, that is kind of annoying that she had to be like a hostage, like a damsel in distress. That it could have been, they could have done a little bit better, but it's still kind of a cool thing that with the elevator. I'll give it that.
But as soon as he saves her, she gets fucking shot right in the middle of the back
Yeah,
with the crossbow.
talk about like another like unexpected twist. Like normally when you save them from like the it's like a James Bond thing where like if you don't get there in time, the buzzsaw, the laser will kill. Like usually when you get out of that, you don't immediately get shot in the back with a crossbow. Like it was so unexpected.
And it's perfectly in the middle of the back. She is now paralyzed,
Oh
probably
yeah,
from the chest down.
it's like
Uh,
yeah, like right in the back of the neck, like right through the spine.
yeah,
That's exactly where that landed.
it's pretty brutal. As Bronson and Jones start to fight, he's able to he goes all the way back upstairs to fight Joan, which again is weird.
Yeah,
It's
he gets in an elevator, which yeah, it's kind of an awkward little like slow down.
yeah. He starts to fight Joan and he's able to push her over the edge of the railing. She's able to save herself by getting the fire axe between the railings. And she's like slipping off the handle of the fire axe as she's screaming for help from Charles Bronson,
Yeah,
which it's
what
always
is
kind
she
of funny.
expecting?
Exactly.
Like he's you just where you've been seriously trying to kill him, and he also thinks you just killed his new buddy. Like, why would he help you up? Because he's a
And
cop? I mean, no, he's got nothing to lose.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. His ex-wife's dead. He can't even watch her dance naked anymore. Um,
So awkward.
and he just watches her fall off, like slip off the edge. And what's the line that he says as she's plummeting to her death?
She says, "Go to hell," and he says, "Ladies first."
Which is a pretty good line.
Such a good line. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it before. Like a lot of the one-liners, I don't know, it's kind of hit or miss. The one-liners in this movie. Some of them are good, but some of them are cheesy. This one definitely is on the good side.
Yep. And as after the bad guy dies, there's nothing more to do but to load everyone up in the ambulance. And that's when we realize that Arabella is thankfully still alive. And she insults Charles Bronson.
And the paramedic. You want to hurry up before I bleed to death? How, Phil? How is she alive?
You are right that she says, hurry up before I bleed to death. She calls them dinosaur dorks, though.
Not only is she alive, that sense of humor is still alive too.
Yeah, I have no idea how this woman's still alive. That would have fucking killed her.
Yeah, like again, like we're like it's not like it was ambiguous how and where she got hit with the crossbow bolt. We were seeing her because like we were facing Charles Bronson, seeing looking at her back, and they were kind of like embracing after he just saved her. Like we saw this thing hit her in like the nape of the neck, right where the little knobby part.
Yeah.
Like yeah, you're right. She's paralyzed right now, or dead. I don't know, whatever.
Exactly. Whatever. It's the end of the film. Bronson's smiling. He's like, if I had a bar of soap, I'd wash your mouth out. And
I'm
then
gonna need a lot of soap.
that's when she goes, what are you grinning at, snot rag? And he's like, I might need an entire case.
And that's the last line of the movie.
And then we get, I swear to God, when I heard the song that they play, the song Murphy's Law on the
Ugh.
credits, it reminded me of like the Cyndi Lauper Goonies song, where again, it's the 80s. You kind of just sing about the movie that you just saw, right?
Well, it's Murphy's Law.
It's so
Doo-doo-doo-doo.
bad. It's
It's
so bad.
Yeah, the Cyndi Lauper song is good. This one is it's just a bad song. I didn't even know what genre it is. It's like a
Shit.
the genre shit. It's a shit music song.
Did you see who sang it?
Yeah. No, it's not someone famous, is it?
I mean, I would say that she's famous. It's Kathleen Wilhoit, the lady in the film. It's
What?
Arabella. Yeah.
What? Ugh. It's a bad song. I mean, and I guess that explains why the voice is so bad. She's Was that like some writer in her contract or something that she gets to sing the title song?
I don't know. She is a musician. She's had 2 albums come out.
Ugh.
Yeah. I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
Maybe shit isn't my genre, but yeah, it's not a good song.
It makes it even more interesting because Madonna at one time was tied to be the female lead for this film. And
What?
Joan Jett tried to be the female lead for this film as well.
What?
Yeah. So I don't know if they were actively looking for like singers to be the female lead for this film, but those
Yes.
two were up for the role.
And why wouldn't you just cast them? Was there like a pay dispute?
Money. Madonna wanted $1 million,
Oh, fuck that.
which
That
I'm
ain't
pretty
canon
sure is
money.
probably half of this that budget.
At least, yeah. I mean, Joan Jett probably couldn't. I mean, I don't know. Mid 80s, she probably could command that kind of salary.
Yeah.
Although she wasn't really doing anything. I don't know, but still, yeah, it's had been a money thing because either of them would have been the obvious choice over. Not that this girl did a bad job, but why
Well, yeah,
wouldn't you
she
go
did
for
a
a big
fine
name?
job. Exactly. Why wouldn't she just pony up the money for Madonna? Because
Yeah.
you would at least get all the Madonna fans probably that first weekend.
Right. Yeah. Like you do that classic B movie thing where you dupe them into the theater. You've already got their money. So who cares if the movie's bad?
Exactly.
Get the name draw.
But
I guess Charles
interestingly
Bronson
enough,
was, yeah.
the movie isn't that bad, right? It's not boring. There are some parts that make me scratch my head and go, huh? And I mean, the dialogue for Arabella is horrendous,
Yeah.
but overall, I enjoyed the movie.
Oh yeah. I feel like I'm gonna sold it down the river there for a second. Like I quite like this. This was 3.5 or maybe a 4 out of 5 for me.
3.5 for me, for sure.
Yeah.
An easy 3.5.
Yeah, easily. It's like I feel like it's only fair to compare it to other canon action movies we've seen. I think we both agree that Charles Bronson is much more fun to watch than Chuck Norris, right?
Oh, I mean, I love Chuck Norris. I think we've said this before, but I think when we started watching his films, I have a newfound respect for him every time I watch him in a movie.
Chuck Norris or Charles
Oh,
Bronson?
I'm sorry, Charles Bronson. Did I say
Oh
Chuck
my god,
Norris?
you did. I was like,
Oh, fuck me. I hate Chuck Norris.
Phil, we're about to have words.
No,
Charles
that
Bronson
was
is way better. Yeah.
Freudian slip there.
But no, you're right. Like, I think we've seen a lot of his movies so far. I mean, we saw the first 3 Death Wish movies, 10 to Midnight, and now this one. I think, was there any other ones that I'm missing?
I mean,
Charles
the
Bronson?
Death Wish ones, this, yeah, 10 to Midnight. I don't
I
think,
think that's it, right?
think that's what we've seen so far.
Right. So, I mean, I think the first Death Wish is number one. If we were to tier this out, Death Wish one is number one. You can't beat that. 10 to Midnight is a close second.
Oh, for sure.
I think this is up there. If this is probably number 3. I think I like this better than the other 2 Death Wish sequels. It is probably on par with 10 to Midnight.
I mean, 10 to Midnight gets a solid pass because of this quote right
It's for
here
jacking off, isn't it?
about jacking off.
Yeah, it's like the thing that we quote constantly. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't. It's so interesting because I the I know Charles Bronson from like The Great Escape and The Magnificent Seven, his like
Hmm.
60s era films, and I always kind of viewed it in the 80s and later kind of be shit tier. But honestly, some
Yeah.
most of these movies are pretty fun.
Yeah. This one was a lot of fun. I mean, I think again, the uniqueness about not just the killer, the way that they cast the killer and the way that she behaves and how she kills people, like that's all really interesting and kind of cool design wise. But like just in general, like a lot of the interesting little character quirks and details that we get in this that are just it doesn't feel like fat that they should have trimmed necessarily. It's just kind of interesting little like the hearing aid thing and the backdrop of the ex-wife, just things that they didn't have to do in a lazier movie. Had this been a lazier movie, they just wouldn't have bothered with that stuff. But it helps
Exactly.
flesh out the characters, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. It's always a treat to get Charles Bronson. Sadly, though, I think it's going to be quite some time before we get back to him.
So yeah, when does Death Wish 4 come out?
So again, remember, just because it's close within the years does not necessarily mean that it's close within the list of things that we have to
The
watch,
canon
right?
library, yeah. Prolific as
So
they were.
Death Wish 4, which is going to be the next one that we watch eventually, comes out in 1987, right? And we just watched Murphy's Law, which came out in 1986. So we're only 1 year away. But again, if I'm able to find all of these movies, it will probably be 2 years before we ever watch it.
uh,
Isn't that
yeah.
insane?
Yeah, I mean, because I feel like we probably talked about this in one of the early episodes. Like they were, and they're at their peak, which is like now.
Yeah,
They were churning out like 45 to 50 movies a year. Like they just had so much stuff in production all at once. I mean,
it's
maybe it.
insane.
So I'm not surprised to hear that. Yeah, we've got we've got a lot of time between now and then,
I,
which is disappointing, but we'll get
it,
there.
it
It'll make it that much sweeter.
it is disappointing. I don't understand how
They
how
put out
this
so much
fucking
crap.
company put out so much stuff,
Yeah.
especially now. Like it is, it's insane. Let me take a look here. Dangerously Close is cited as number 170, and Death Wish 3 is cited as 154. Oh no, Death Wish 4. I'm sorry. Death Wish 4 is 213. So 170 minus 213. This is really epic listening right here. There's 43 movies in between here and there,
Listen to these grown adults try to do math.
which that's insane. That's
Yeah,
insane that
that's
there's
a
that
lot.
many movies within a year between these two.
Hmm. I mean, I think it's probably also the fact that they weren't always just producing these things themselves, but they were like a lot of like the British stuff that they would just like distribute as part of their catalog too. So I mean, it's feasible, but still a lot.
Yep.
And we're